This is not a Kundalini class. Okay. It's not a Kundalini class. This is a soul listening class. Yes, we use, or you can use, um, Kundalini practices, which is Kirtan Kriya. You actually don't have to. And I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. Um, and the reason that this was not this class is based on teachings, as I said, that Siri-Gian has gotten from soul. This is not based on Kundalini Yoga. It is not based on Yogi Bhajan's teachings. Okay. Siri-Gian was a student of Yogi Bhajan, and I'll have her talk more about this. The reason that this is important for those of you who don't know, and the way I usually say this is that I'm going to address the elephant in the room. But some people don't even know that there's an elephant, but there is. There's a big elephant called Yogi Bhajan. Okay. And Yogi Bhajan, so was a teacher here. He was from India. And what has happened is that there have been allegations. There was a book that was published in 2020. I do not remember the name. I don't remember the person. I did not read it. But the author was a woman who was one of his students, and she said that he had sex with her and there was horrible things. And so what you need to know is, yes, he did horrible things. Okay. And that is important to say out loud. That is important to acknowledge. Um, and it's also important, and this is, I was told somebody, well, I told Monica, so this is like the grand ultimate test of everyday self and soul. Okay. This is like the grand ultimate test is when you're faced with something like this, right? Is anybody else, I mean, those of you who didn't know about this, anybody like, holy shit, right? So this is the kind of the grand ultimate test of like, okay, is it the can I hear the teaching and separate it from the teacher? Okay, because the teaching is soul. The teacher is not correct. The teacher is, does that make sense? The teaching is soul. The teacher, not correct. We are not following that. This is not, we are not saying it's okay of
From
what
Yogi
he did. We are not saying that it's okay what he did at all.
because it was behind everything. He didn't tell everybody. There was just these ladies.
Is that okay? So what we are doing is differentiating between soul truth, the teaching, and someone who was not always following that teaching. And one of the things that Satnashan said to me is I was studying Kundalini Yoga when this book came out. I was studying with Siri-Gian. And one of the things that Satnashan said to me, which she's not going to be able to be here anymore, by the way, is he yeah, he showed his human side. His human side got exposed. Um, what happened for me, I'm just going to share with you what happened for me when I found out about this is I was like, yeah, you know, I'm not surprised. People did like guru thing, like, oh my God, give you all my power. I'm going to give you all my power. Here, take it. Oh, I will do anything you say. And it's like, and that's why I'm emphatic. If anything, I hope you guys understand how emphatic I am and passionate I am about making sure that you never believe anything I say unless you feel it is true. Take what you like and leave the rest. So that includes when you're doing these readings, blacking out Yogi Bhajan's name or any of the teachers that you don't know who they're talking about, or if it triggers you at all, skip over it. Skip over it.
And
This,
just go with the soul to see if that's true or not.
yes, I have to turn on my heater because I'm cold. So it might make noise and I apologize, but I'm quite chilly. I'm shaking actually. So, yes, so what Siri-Gian's saying is that, so say you're reading something, say,
With Yogi Bhajan,
yeah, say, I don't know, I could grab something. Let me, um, say it's, I'm trying to remember, like, um, compassion, compassion should lead, compassion should lead you at all times. Say that you read that and it says it was from Yogi Bhajan. What you want to do is stop and say, is it true? It doesn't matter who the mouth that it came out of, in a way. Yes, in a way it does, and yet, does that make sense?
it's from soul to
Because
decide,
it's from soul.
right?
So, you know, Trungpa Rinpoche, like we could name them. Trungpa Rinpoche, la 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 la, this person, all these, you know, and that I just want you to know, so what happened was I forgot to bring this up. And thank you again, Monica and Tom, for helping me with this. Because I love it, because it's like, of course, it's like, wait, I don't know who this person is. Wait, who does all this stuff? They're talking about all this stuff. I don't know what it is, right? It's like, of course, it's like, oh, let me go find out what that is. Well, guess what you're going to find out when you look up on the internet? I'm probably going to find out first, like, ah, and you should react like, oh, no, 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 right? That's a good reaction, don't you think? I think it's a good reaction. And one of the things that I told, and Monica, again, thank you for bringing it up to me and also bringing it up to me before class. um, One of the things that I also said to Monica was, I am more concerned about people who don't react like that, who wouldn't say, oh, wait a second, what's up? That's not okay, because it's not okay. Does that make sense? Siri-Gian, do you want to say some things?
Well, a lot of things. Okay. So, okay, so can I give you some time here? Okay,
Yeah, you can take as much time as you want.
thank you. Okay, I want to tell you about my origin. Okay, I was having meditation. This was 1975. And at that point, I was meditating, and then I saw this big light. I mean, from the whole room. And I went, what? I said, who are you? And he said, this is Jesus. And so I said, well, I'm not Catholic anymore. So, so that's, he said, you're a healer. I said, a what? Anyway, then he says to, and then he began for heart breath. And we know about heart breath because now he said, do that now. I mean, for other people. So I didn't know anything about yoga at that point. So he told me about long, deep breathing. And then that's from the nose, and then letting it move out of the heart. And you know all of that, okay? And then he told me to do this thing. Do you know about this? A lot of people do it now. Okay, and you just keep it with heart breath. And then you feel it's like a pressure, like a force between. You got that? And then you keep making it bigger and bigger until it's really strong, and then move that force to where I want to do that, or anything. And then he said it's also can be on any part of my body. And I said, then I went, now what? So anyway, because it's like, duh, there are other people to tell me Jesus is doing this. And it was like, what? Anyway, I just kept up with that. And also at that time, I had a voice, and I never knew what that voice was. But anyway, there was this voice that was, and I would write it out. I think you already told me all that. And then it would tell me all of these things about the universe and this and that. And I'm going, what? Because I kind of like know about all those things, but not quite. And then it was telling me that um, uh, that I was having this voice that said that I would see that the whole world is going to go boom.
Upside down.
Huh?
Upside down.
Yeah,
The
that's
whole
what.
world was going to go. What's happening now?
Yeah. So I have, and then I went to other people to say, do you know about this? And I went to um, different people who knew about um, religion and blah blah blah, this and that, and other people would tell me too. I said, oh, okay. And then I said, but what do you do? What do you do with it? And so I waited, and I go, okay. And a couple of months after that, then I saw uh, the vision for this yogi. And I went, oh, okay, now what? And then I happened to go to, and there was more to that, but anyway, then I went to Kundalini Yoga, and I had anyway, so I started there, and I went, I could feel it. This was it. This is what I was looking for. This is, and by the way, a lot of people had that feeling as well, knew that. And then I found out that Yogi Bhajan was talking about how the world is going to, it's called the times, uh, crashing or changing. It's really changed for the Aquarian age, because it's really changing everything. And we kept waiting. Okay, let's do that. And then he would tell us about meditation, and he would tell us about uh, getting preparedness, and to get strong. And I did martial arts as well, all of those people. And it was really important. It has been really important at this point for now, because this is what's happening. These are the times, right? Do you understand that? These are the times. So that was 50 years ago, and 50 years of working that, because I couldn't talk about all blah, 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 blah. And anyway, we've kept with that, and about fear, and about hurt, and so on. And so I finally began doing healing, and I did this, and then it worked. So I said, okay, this is okay, we'll do that. And then when uh, and then I would listen. I finally decided that that voice is soul, because it could be so many other things, like Holy Spirit or God or whatever you want to say, because I could see that it was a different voice. It was just succinct, and not all these blah blah blah. So so this is what's, and then when I would go for healing, then it would hear from soul, and it would be just it would be giving energy, and then it would be, what do you call it? That would be questions. We call it Socratic method.
Yeah, the Socratic method.
Right. So this is, I mean, that's what Soul said, and we did it, and it works, right? And
Yes.
and um, so to the healee, uh, or the healer, I would say from Soul to talk uh, to the healee, give the question, and then that was true. I mean, then to say that, and then I would say that to the healee, and sometimes, no, it was always say, do that. do that. And I went, oh, I'm sorry that
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Greta.
and it's
Mhm.
there because Layla, did you see that? Did you see that in the
Um,
healing?
not say, did you experience that when we did the healing with you that we were asking? So let me just clarify just to make sure that people understand. So that the whole thing with soul listening and also with soul answer healing is that we ask questions. We don't tell people what
Exactly.
to feel and we don't tell people what to think. That's the difference between that's a cult. The cult is going to tell you what to do and what to say and what to wear and how to think and how to do all that stuff. That's 100% not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're using questions to help you to get to your deepest knowing. And so what Siri-Gian was been saying is Layla and Greta both did a healing with us this weekend separately. So she was just asking them if that was their experience when we did the healing, that we were asking questions.
Did you find that, ladies?
Yeah, I think um the whole time it was all questions. There was only one time um when it came up when you guys were like, we need to do this chant. We're making the executive decision that we're gonna do this. But otherwise the whole time was a lot of like questions and building.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Okay, so um, so then Soul told me to teach, and I went, oh, how can you do that? Because the only thing you can do with Soul to do healing, I said, so how can I just teach that? Because this is basically teaching about hearing from Soul. So I said, well, how do I do that? And then Soul told me. I went, because Soul said, do that. And I went, all righty. So that's what we did. And we had that for 3 years, right? For the healer. Mhm. It was a big, long time. And we've done that before. We did that for 2 different,
You did two different sections. Yeah.
yeah. So this is very important for this, especially for this time, so that you can find out pure truth now, especially now. Otherwise, the society here is becoming totally liars. Do you understand that? So, this is why we are giving you the ability to listen from soul. Did you hear that? That's it. Okay, that's what soul listening is about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wonderful. Um, I just want to touch on two things. Um, you guys have all well, it sounds to me like you guys have all experienced this very quiet. You've noticed Soul's usually the quietest person in the room, you know, and it's sometimes it's like, hey, could you speak up? So the voice part that Siri-Gian's talking about for her, I just want to be really clear. This is not schizophrenia. Schizophrenia. My sister was schizophrenic. Okay. My sister was schizophrenic and God was talking to her. Okay. So I do know the different, maybe you just have to trust me. but I do know the difference between
Feel it here.
somebody who's schizophrenic. Right, exactly. And just check with yourself. Like, how does it feel? Does it feel authentic? Does it feel like there's some mental illness going on? And honestly, if you do, then blessings on your journey. That's what's important. Does that make sense? The other part that I want to also just say about, and then maybe open it up to people if you want or not or whatever, is these practices that is called Kundalini Yoga they're yogic practices, and they have been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And I studied Tai Chi and Qigong very intensely for a while. And these are Qigong exercises. And the chants are designed that it's the vibration. Again, like, it's so interesting, right? Amen, Om, Ah. It opens up your palate, and I can send you diagrams if you want. I can explain to you, because of my background, how physiologically what you're doing is you're actually stimulating, and there's a physiological connection, fascial connection from the palate to your master gland, your pituitary gland, which then is into your pineal gland. It's not it's physical. It is physical. I have opened it up on a cadaver. Okay. So this is a physical connection, and we use sound, and you use different mudras, different whatever. That's how. So I just want to, because it's like, oh, I just, yeah, it's like, it's not about guru means light, darkness to light. But we're moving. So this is the cool thing, okay? Is that actually what we have fully shifted into what the peoples the call the Aquarian age, okay? So we've shifted from the Piscean age. The Piscean age was, oh, that is my guru. I'm following my guru. I will do whatever you say, guru. I will do whatever you say. That is the past. That's the past as a former uh, template. Now it's community. It is community, and it is you
And soul.
taking you taking soul with you. It's your connection to soul. Okay. So now it is not about out there, the guru's in here. And that's why we keep the beginning chant, because it means the guru's inside of me. That's what that chant means. And I know I sent you guys the what you call it, translation. But if it doesn't work for you, don't do it.
Mhm. And that's
Oh, yeah.
that Om Namo Gurudev Namo is
Mhm.
very similar to other yogas. And it's right. Japa Saraswati, right?
Japa has studied, as far as I can tell, many different lineages of yoga. Am I right, Japa?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're asking Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. The translation I like best is that I bow to the teacher within. Um, and so that, yeah, that's what I'll say about that.
Yeah. Siri-Gian was just saying, have you found it across different lineages in yoga?
Yes, there are similar chants and similar sounds, the root sounds and the seed sounds. Um, uh, there are sacred syllables that have particular vibrations, and uh, regardless of the lineage or even the language, that sacred syllable vibrates on a particular frequency that we are tapping into when we resonate that frequency. And that is what I move with. And I feel really refreshed to hear this conversation for a number of reasons. So
Oh,
thanks.
thank you for saying that.
And
Yes.
I want to know about the mind, two different levels. And
Right.
but we called everyday self. We just call EDS, that means every day, and think about this and that. And then the other side, no, the more level is coming from soul, because you can actually feel it different.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen that?
Have you guys felt that yet? Have you felt it to some extent? It's usually really, really like subtle at first. Hands,
Mhm.
yes.
And it feels,
Yes, Monica, I've been with you when you felt it. Greta, we were with you when you felt it on Sunday.
and actually, you have heard that a lot of times, and I wish I could remember the exactly years, no, the sentences, but it's in the Old Testament about somebody asked I don't know, whoever, he was something special. And then he he said, evidently he was listening from soul or God or something. And then he asked people, well, how do you do that? And he said, it's like whisper. Feel that, a whisper. Do you see that? Okay, so we're still doing that. I mean, because if this is God, hello, this has been in a long time. Okay, and this is for you, and it's for you. And don't worry about that because, like I said, it has a lot of lying these days.
Yeah, there's a lot of lying these days. Yes,
Oh,
Miss Greta. Go ahead.
Could you say a little bit more about the third eye center coming from neutral? Like, is third eye center the same thing as third eye? And how do
Oh,
we
yeah.
know?
Mhm.
Okay, and then how do we know if we're coming from neutral? I would just like to hear a little bit more about. I understand the
About that.
concepts
Sure,
that you're talking
sure.
about. It's like, but how do I get there and know that I'm there?
Yeah, that's wonderful. And let me just yeah, um that's that is what this is all about is stepping like, okay, is that it? Is that it? Um I feel like you know that you're there when you relax. When you go, oh, there's not like there's no like in Buddhist tradition they call it grasping. Um, there's no like, oh, I'm going towards something or moving away from something. You're not being averted by something or grasping towards something. You're just like, it's like, you know what it feels like to me personally? It feels like floating in water.
yeah,
And I don't know if it'll feel like that to you, but I feel like often that's what it feels like. I feel like people describe it like that. And neutral is that it doesn't have any opinions.
that's right. That's
It's
exactly.
not telling you, oh, Greta, maybe we're doing this wrong. Maybe we should, is my big toe supposed to be flexed? I'm being funny because, we should like maybe bring some humor. But does that make sense? Like if you hear this, like, okay, wait, I'm supposed to, where is it from? Then it's like, okay, then it's not neutral. And if you're just like, you know what, I'm just gonna breathe and just try to get to neutral, that's it. You just like, okay, I'm just going to keep going. Yeah.
And what you're talking about, about this breath we've been talking about, long, deep breath. And with heart breath, it's coming from the nose and then feeling, uh, feeling, feeling like air coming out from your heart. Okay? Just do that for a second.
And we know it physically can't happen. Just see if you can
Right.
feel it.
But you can kind of feel a pressure coming out. And then Greta was talking about her third eye. And with that same idea is you're coming from the nose and then feel as though this air or this pressure coming here. This is called your third eye. It is a very special energy place. Just keep up with that. Keep up, and you might feel light. And continue. Elizabeth?
Thank you. Those are such great questions. I really appreciate that. Mhm.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding what, so the best way to get to neutral is by practicing heart breath. And part of heart breath can be also picturing
From the third eye.
something coming out of there or just pressure here. That's where I got a
Just
little
the pressure.
feeling of pressure here.
Mhm.
Okay.
Could
Just
I?
you might, just a second. You might just feel that third eye center. It might just be that you feel the pressure. You can feel it coming out. The heart breath takes you to neutral. And then for me, that's like the doorknob to open. And then I can bring my awareness here. This is my experience. I can't, first, for me here, it's actually, I get tight personally because I go into my head. So if I go to heart breath first, that takes me to neutral. And then I bring my awareness. And I say awareness on purpose because people say, focus on your third eye. And I did that for a long time. I was focusing. Something's supposed to be happening. I'm focusing. So for me, it's relaxing, and it's for me personally, I relax in. And so I say third eye center because there's a concept called Brahman's cave, right? That we have Brahman's cave. So it's this relaxing into something deep inside of me and then allowing that to come out. But I think the important thing is like my experience might not feel like yours, but if you start to feel like a buzziness, like I'll feel like a buzzy feeling. That's what I'll feel. Sometimes pressure. Some people here are like, you know, that's not necessarily mine. Yeah, Joppa, what were you gonna
Thank you.
say? Mhm.
I would say that some yogis roll their eyes up, and it helps to activate the pituitary and the pineal, and that makes that area just more sensitive to be focused on. It sort of just draws the attention there. But you don't have to do that if it gives you a headache. It's just like bringing the awareness there to amplify the vibration in that place.
Yeah. And again, physiologically, like I can show you, if Monica, I see you, physiologically, if by doing that, I'm activating certain muscles that will pull on the pituitary gland. So physically, it actually really is doing that. That's the part that I'm just like, why you understand? I've seen a brain, like I understand why this works.
Yeah,
Yes.
because your
Nerve
optical are, and they're
and the cross.
cross. But right under there is where your pituitary is.